Pugs-Parker, the host. Unmuted your mic. And E, let's bring in E. There you go. We have the assembled Radio Misfits assembled. We gotta do like a Justice League kind of thing.
Yeah, we get like armbands and do this or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Just something for the gift shop. A little something for the brand, as they say.
Maybe
T-shirts.
handcuffs.
A handshake?
No.
Handcuffs. Not armbands. I was
thinking
handcuffs.
That's not what I was thinking, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. We're talking about T-shirts and maybe some kind of. Hi, everybody. This is the Radio Misfits Show. We do this every night, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Pugs Moran. James Parker, raise your hand.
That's me. That's me.
And then, of course, we've got E's here. E, raise your hand. There you go.
That's me.
Kevin Spicy. I like it. Kevin Spicy. James and I like to have fun with our names on, any particular night. James is going with Kevin Spicy today. Did you see the Kevin Spacey story that's circulating? See, he talked to Variety. He had a very crazy, delusional conversation.
That's kind of why it was top of mind. When I come in here, it seems like I'm choosing a random name, but it's not really that random. It's just what's swirling around in my head that I can twist into something that sounds like it might be a dad joke, a pun, or porno.
Well, let's see. Let's test the waters of the great unwashed. E is a pretty regular fella, a regular Joe, goes about his day. Let me ask you, E, if I were to say Kevin Spacey, what do you think? What comes to mind first? You random Joe on the street. Kevin Spacey, what do you think?
Closeted gay man.
Not closeted. Not closeted. He's not closeted.
You're not allowed to tell him what his impression of Kevin Spacey is. All
right, but it's wrong. It's wrong.
I just finish.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Good actor. Mm-hmm. Has had legal problems for forcing maybe sex with some underage men.
Okay, all right, let's drill down on that because I've got a follow-up there. So a random guy on the street, Kevin Spacey, has had some legal problems. How's that been working? What's going on with those? What is he? Is he a predator or what's going on?
I think he paid some money to make him go away.
So that's just on the street. That's just what you think. You assume that you don't think that he went in front of a bunch of juries and all 3 times he's faced juries he's been acquitted because of lack of evidence or anything. You'd think that he's probably guilty. He's a bad guy, right?
I think that where there's smoke, there's fire.
See, isn't that weird? I tend to agree with the James, where there's smoke, there's fire thing there. But Kevin Spacey has now been up against 4 different cases, and he has beaten every single one of them. He didn't pay a dime. He said, yeah, you're accusing me of this? Prove it. Let's go to court. And he has won every single time. And he's facing the final 2. He's got 2 left in London that he's got to face, but he seems pretty confident. And that's why we're talking about him, because he sat down with Variety after putting himself in exile for the last 3 years.
See, this is why I've enjoyed talking with you, Pugs, about the different shades of gray, no pun intended, and some of the guys who were taken down with the Me Too fervor.
Oh.
And some of them absolutely deserved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some of them absolutely didn't deserve it. No. Some of them are kind of like, it seems like a pretty creepy dude.
Some are more complicated. Some are very black and white. Some were miscarriages of justice, and other ones are, complicated.
Yeah, and so if this is like Kevin Spacey, who's holding some actors workshop, and when he's like 26, he does stuff with a 18-year-old kid who's in his acting class, or someone presenting themselves as 18 years old. Yes, that's creepy. Yeah, that's not what I would prefer for my kid's 18-year-old experience to include. Does it make him a bad person? Man, not necessarily. It's just,
well, there are plenty of things outside of his sexual peccadillos that make Kevin Spacey a bad person. He's not a good person. He's disliked by just about everyone in Hollywood. He's difficult. He's arrogant.
That is something that I didn't know before all this stuff came out. I thought Kevin Spacey was pretty much the affable, likable guy.
No, he's a
on
dickhead.
screen.
He thinks he's better than everybody else.
Everybody that's worked with him has said that.
Yeah,
You don't have
nobody came to his defense. That's part of his problem in all of this, is that nobody in Hollywood came to his defense. They were all like, yeah, he's an asshole.
But that means something, even in a situation like this. Well, it doesn't matter if he's an asshole whether or not he's guilty. True. But you got to think that maybe House of Cards wouldn't have dropped him like a hot potato with the first sign of a little heat, man.
They hated him. He was a dick.
Oh, man,
apparently
they were all waiting to flush him for the first excuse.
He's a difficult man, and he's an incredibly talented actor. He's one of my favorite actors. I'll see anything that he's in. I can't wait for him to start working again. But the facts are that, I wanted to use E as an example of someone who doesn't, follow all this nerdy stuff the way I do, or possibly even you as a talk show host. The random guy on the street, the Kevin Spacey brand is ruined. The Kevin Spacey brand he may as well have been guilty of all the things that he's beaten. He's been beating these charges left and right. Los Angeles beat those. But he
really did smash these 18. What's the age on these people? Because I think there was one in like New York where the age of consent 17. So he slept.
No. That was Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp was in a Broadway play. He was 16 at the time. Kevin Spacey had a party on a Saturday night. Anthony Rapp said that Kevin Spacey invited him to the party, and then said some terrible things happened in the bedroom and drew a map and all that kind of stuff. And that was basically ruled in favor of Kevin Spacey, because that was not Kevin Spacey lived in a studio apartment. That's basically the story that this kid had been telling for 15 years was made up. It was never there. And that's what the jury found. And so that one went away. The other one that he faced was in Martha's Vineyard. That was the busboy, who he apparently shoved his hand down the busboy's pants and fondled the busboy. The busboy was the son of a very famous and high-profile Boston television news anchor. So that became kind of a story where she went public with Kevin Spacey tried to rape my son. No charges were ever brought in that. However, that was on Inside Edition, and so we all know about that, although no charges were ever brought because they didn't want to press charges. The other one are two charges that were brought in Los Angeles. Two different individuals said that Kevin Spacey sexually assaulted them. One of those individuals died mysteriously before it could go to court, so those charges were dropped.
During the assault?
No. No. Years later, during the lead up to the court case, they brought charges against Kevin Spacey, and the person bringing the charges died. The second Los Angeles case, that person didn't die, but before it ever went to court, they basically said it wasn't true, and they backed out of it. They were like, So whatever, maybe that leads credence to Emil thinking that, he paid some, I don't know, but all charges were dropped in the second case. So Los Angeles, even though a lot of hubbub about that, no charges brought when the guy died. And the second person, they decided not to bring charges. The Boston Martha's Vineyard case, that never actually went to trial. That was all just hubbub because it was a television news person. Nobody made anything of it. And in a New York trial just from a few months ago, very high profile one with actor Anthony Rapp, he was acquitted. He was found not guilty. He didn't do what they said he did. So, and now he's facing the final two charges from 20 years ago in London. And he's feeling very confident that these are going to go away as well. And he's telling Variety as of today that Hollywood can't wait to have Kevin Spacey back. And that's why I think he's delusional, because the average guy is like Emil and will still and forever think of him as a predator, even though he has knocked down every single one of these charges. He stood in, man. He stood in. He didn't take a plea. He didn't pay anybody else. He didn't settle. Every single one of these, he said, let's go to court. And he has won on every single one of them. And I don't think people know that.
No, I don't. But, he's just weird enough that.
Mm-hmm. And he's a dick.
Yeah.
These things are all different factors that go. He hasn't spoken to his own family in like 30 years. Like his brothers and stuff, they all hate him. They're
no, is it that bad?
Oh yeah. And his dad was like a Nazi. Like his dad was a full-fledged member of like the American Nazi Party. Yeah. Oh, Kevin Spacey's got a fun family life. Oh yeah.
And so the Nazi had a gay son?
Yeah. So that was a problem between him and the Nazi dad. But then the brother, Kevin Spacey's brother, who was like, yeah, I don't like that my dad was a Nazi either. Like Kevin Spacey's brother seems kind of normal. Kevin Spacey's brother's like, oh yeah, no, he thinks he's God's gift to the world. I can't stand that dude. His own brother.
That's so sad.
Yeah, well, Kevin Spacey was probably, he went through some things as a gay young man, the son of a Nazi. And, this is what it looks like at 60, right? This is what that looks like at
Well,
60. It's Kevin Spacey.
He can be a bit of a creeper. He can be hated by all his coworkers. He can be despised by his family, but that's not illegal. Being a dick and being a creeper is not necessarily
That's right.
illegal in America, nor should it be. But look, here's
And
one.
it also doesn't negate his incredible talent. He's a tremendous actor.
Oh,
He
man,
channels
I
that
can't-
asshole energy in a way that
Right.
nobody ever has.
I can't go back and not like The Ref. Did you remember The Ref with Dennis Leary and him and that?
The ref swimming with sharks, Usual Suspects. Come on.
Outbreak. Yeah, all that crap. Anyway, so you know how we joke around like, hey, man, would you suck a D for $10 million?
I would.
Okay. So
Thank you.
from that point of view, a lot of these Me Too accusations were not necessarily women that had acts forced on them or were extorted or blackmailed or otherwise, lose your job if you don't do that. But they willingly dove face first into laps with the hopes on the other end of this will be $10 million. And just like Pug said, yeah, he'd be willing to suck for $10 million. That is sort of the roll of the dice that a lot of these people who are playing Hollywood games are looking at. These are the kind of odds you're looking at. A job, like if we get a job at 97.1 in Dallas, we'll make a few bucks, but we're not going to make the same kind of money that we would be if we were in Ocean's 13 or 18 or whatever they're up to, right? So to be in a Harvey Weinstein film or to be the lead role or to go from like some chick that's in commercials to being like the supporting actress in some of these Harvey Weinstein films, this is a career-setting, multi-million-dollar proposition. And if Pugs has to suck a guy to get there, he just said he would.
Yeah, and I'd also want to make it absolutely clear that $10 million price tag, that's negotiable. That's just a starting point. We're just throwing that out.
Oh, my number's much lower.
Oh, you threw out 10 million. I didn't balk. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Unless it's annual.
So are you suggesting that you think that the women that came out during this Me Too movement willingly jumped into these sexual situations anticipating that someday they would be able to use this?
No. They a small fraction, probably a minority of the stories you heard, but some of them, this isn't the normal story, but some of them willingly participated in, sexual favors in exchange for getting a job with no compunction about it and no coercion and no force. I mean, they did it willingly. I bet you some of them even offered.
And then what you're saying now in Me Too, they come back and it's been put in a different pretense of how it really went down.
Yeah. And also you have
I never contemplated that. I never thought about, well, hey, wait a minute, what if you willingly suggested that and I was the CEO? And yes, we participated in that. And then, yes, I did give you an advantage because of that. And you never said anything or we knew kind of or whatever. And now here you are 15 years going, well, wait a minute. This is the way it went down. How would I bail out of that?
Hold on, we've seen this with a number of people. We've seen celebrities who've been accused of things. We've seen situations where they were in a relationship with a woman and things got weird and the woman stayed in the relationship even though it was really traumatic and she still dated him for a couple of years and then he left and married some famous actress and now she's suing him for sexual assault. We've seen this a couple of times where women Armie Hammer is the one that comes to mind first of all. All these women who were accusing Armie Hammer of all these terrible things, these brutal sexual assaults, all stayed in relationships with him for months and years after these assaults took place. And it was only after he broke off the relationship with him when they realized they were never going to be Mrs. Armie Hammer, that they were just side pieces. That's when suddenly the trauma kicks in and now he's got to be taken down. Now, I'm not saying this is the situation in all cases. That'd be absolutely absurd, but this is the situation in a couple of cases. The Armie Hammer's a weird guy, but that girl who brought those charges against him, that is some sus stuff that she's spouting, man. She stayed in a relationship with him after she claimed that she was brutalized and scarred for life, but she still stayed. I don't think so.
Yeah, so was Kevin Spacey the gay version of this?
I don't know what Kevin Spacey was. I don't know. There is no like pattern of predatory behavior. All the charges are different. They're wildly different scenarios. So
There's a pattern of sexually aggressive behavior, but that's not the same thing. And I'm always suspicious of the delayed accusation. Like if you tell someone the next day or a couple days later, or maybe even the next week, but once the Me Too dominoes started falling and people started coming out of the woodworks with, well, yeah, there was this one time when something happened to me. I really like the fact that some justice was coming out of the woodworks, but along with some of that justice was people just, telling stories.
people lost unbelievable things. Louis C.K. lost more than I think can truly be calculated. Louis C.K. lost hundreds of millions of dollars. He was about as big a superstar. He was right after 20 years of him being every comic's favorite comic. 20 years, Louis C.K. was like the middler for the bigger guy. It was Louis C.K. who was writing all of Chris Rock's stuff. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting the credit, but he was chugging it out. And then all of a sudden, Louis C.K. finally breaks through, and people go, "Oh my God, this guy is something special." He has stand-up specials that are just instant classics. He then has a television show that debuts where it's a completely radically different television show than the way anything else looks. And every critic in the world says he's an auteur, he's the next Woody Allen or whatever. They're calling him all these things. Then he has this big movie contract. Oh my God, they want him to be the next Woody Allen. So he creates this film called Daddy, I Love You. And it's about to be released. It's being released on Friday. And Wednesday, these charges fall. The movie is scrapped. The premieres are all wiped out. He has let go from his film contract, to produce like 5 more of these. He was going to write, direct, and star in these movies. And it was all because he asked permission to whip his dick out years earlier. Comedians party weird, man. And that's what he was accused of. He was never accused of doing anything. He was accused of being a guy who would go, "Well, you want to see it?" And then the girl comedians would be like, "Yeah." And then he'd do it. Is that weird? Yeah, I think it's weird, but whatever. It's not.
It was sexual predator-ish, though.
No, it was in rooms with a bunch of people. Yeah, I mean, this is the strangest thing. You ask Kelly, my partner, how many times she's seen Danny Bonaducci's dick. Among certain men of a certain generation, flashing your dick isn't sexual so much as it is just, the only means to a punchline they know. And seriously, I mean,
that's your people, Emil.
Yeah, people of your generation with your wagging your dicks out and stuff.
We're the woo girls. Woo!
It was weird. The thing is, it wasn't Harvey Weinstein, and it's not that everything has to meet the measure of Harvey Weinstein. I think that's the extreme, right? That's a guy who was really just raping chicks, holding them down, leaving marks and raping them, and then they were shutting up because he was the most powerful guy in Hollywood. Aziz Ansari, right? He's another one. He basically lost his Netflix deal because he tried to kiss a girl after a date, and she didn't like him like that. And then she told a blog, and that blog became, Aziz Ansari lost his network deal. He had a big movie in theaters that people were like, "Oh, he's a great star of the future." No, lost everything because he tried to kiss a girl.
Yeah, but I think he did
special out of it, though. His stand-up special where he addresses it is great.
Isn't Aziz Ansari, didn't he do the line from the movie where the girl's over at his house and he's on the couch and he pulls it out and says it's not going to suck itself? Granted, it's totally inappropriate. If my daughter's on a date, I hope the guy acts in a more gentlemanly manner than that. But that just seems like a really crappy joke. And for like this little wussy beta male guy to try and be assertive, and he's feeling his oats. He's a millionaire. He's a star. He's a celebrity. He's been on whatever that show was, Parks and Recs or Community or whatever it was. And, he's been gassed up by compliments that he doesn't deserve. So he just thinks he's in sort of the stratosphere of chicks falling all over him that he got a little too used to and a little too comfortable with. And that's not the real world. I think he got a little too used to smelling his own farts because he got pretty big pretty young, and he's been really successful, and he is really good.
Yeah.
People tell him that all the time, and there probably have been a lot of girls where he's pulled out and said, "It's not gonna suck itself." They're like, "Oh, you're so funny." And that's probably worked like 4 or 5 times before this chick showed up. You know,
Yeah, I just
if you're Aziz Ansari, aren't you used to girls diving face first in your lap?
probably. Here, Al says, where do we see this movie, this Louis C.K. movie that was canceled because he was canceled 2 days before the big New York City premiere? You can see it probably anywhere. It's been out. I saw it 3 years. I saw it shortly. I mean, immediately went to on demand. They shelved it completely. But here, this is the trailer. This is the trailer for it. You can watch it. This was supposed to be the start of his 5-picture deal. He wrote, he directed it, he starred in it. It was supposed to be, Louis C.K. He is the new Woody Allen, and in more ways than one, he kind of turned out to be.
China wants to come and live with me.
Giant apartment, and you have the Hamptons and the plane.
None of that is my fault. You divorced me while I was a loser, so you lost.
Can we get the check?
You having a good time?
Hey, Teddy, is it okay if I stay here for a few more days?
Let me think about it and then we'll talk later, okay?
I love you.
I love you too. Have you thought at all about what you're gonna do with your life?
I don't know, Daddy.
We'll talk about it, okay?
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
A girl that age is getting into trouble, and if she loves her daddy, that means you're doing nothing.
Is that your girlfriend?
Oh, God. No, that's my daughter, China.
Oh, wow, she's gorgeous.
That's Leslie Goodwin. I've wanted to meet him my whole life. I'll be the best filmmaker of the last 30 years or more.
Okay, well, he also dates really young women, and he's what, like 80 years old?
Hi, I'm Leslie.
Hi.
You are firing your lead actress and hiring a pregnant movie star.
Sorry, that's what's called for.
Called for by
Me?
Ooh, the man takes charge.
Shut up, Ralph. You were with Leslie Goodwin?
Isn't that weird?
No, it's not that weird. He likes young girls.
Yes, he does.
China. She is a child. She knows nothing. She's like a Disney princess on estrogen.
She could do a lot worse.
It's my daughter.
China is a minor. A minor what?
I mean, everybody's a pervert. I'm a pervert. We're all perverts. Who cares?
And that is the lost Louis C.K. movie that nobody ever saw. That had a wide release and was completely shelved because 48 hours before its premiere, its big New York City premiere, Louis C.K. got canceled for whipping it out.
How old is that daughter character supposed to be?
Okay. First of all, let me just say it's a good movie. I really liked it. And it kind of makes me sick to my stomach because, well, I love Woody Allen movies, and it is absolutely Louis C.K. showing that he can do a Woody Allen movie, that he can do this like sophisticated New York society crowd movie, right? I believe she is a senior in high school, and he basically plays himself. He is playing a guy who was a comedian who is now all of a sudden this very powerful film director and all of that. That's who Louis C.K.'s character is. And his daughter is being educated overseas. So she's come now to stay with him. And he accidentally introduces her to John Malkovich, who is like one of these 90-year-old Hollywood, icons who likes young women. So that's pretty much the movie. Is he willing to pimp out his daughter for Hollywood success?
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not a good time for the Me Too crowd to be evaluating your next movie.
Yeah, and he was fearless. So you have to remember, before he was canceled, he was fearless. That's one of the reasons that people liked him so much. So his fearless sort of attitude in that movie did not mesh well with the accusations that were being made against him. It was just not helpful. James, what do you got?
All right. We have made great note on how stupid marijuana laws have been, even though we're all kind of happy in the direction it's been moving over the course of our lifetimes. It tortoise pace, and the weird legal twist that these people get themselves into with the wording of these half-ass legalization bills has some funny results that we've enjoyed making fun of. Let's go to Alabama.
All right.
because they pay too much attention to football there, right? Not enough attention to syntax and grammar and the wording of laws.
Why does Alabama?
Because you know how they. Go ahead.
Why? Here's the headline. Why does Alabama only let you consume peach-flavored edibles?
All right, and here's the deal.
Interesting.
So Alabama 2021, they voted to legalize medical marijuana, and they have some really just stupid stuff written into their bill, because it was one of these that, well, there was this version in one house and that version in the other house, and they kind of Frankensteined them together, and then they had some weird amendments that just changed the wording of this other statement over here, which changed the meaning of this other statement over here, and they ended up with some accidents. So one of them is that you can't smoke it, you can only eat it. And the original bill that passed and was only caught in like reconciliation was that it had to be unflavored. Well, at some point, tried an unflavored marijuana edible. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, this tastes God, this tastes awful." They like gagged, and they're like, "We gotta be able to put some flavors on this." Well, it's like, well, we can't just let them go crazy with the flavors, because they'll be putting out like Skittles and all this stuff that's aimed at kids and Fruit Loop flavors.
So what? Yeah, I get it, for the kids.
And
right.
so we can't do something too fruity, because then it'll attract kids, but we can't make it like horseradish flavor or like avocado or something, because it'll discourage people from taking their medicine. Yeah.
It's Leon Perrin's flavored edibles.
Big Lots parking lot. So compromise one flavor in the middle of that spectrum, and they peach.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a right or wrong. It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Because they don't like Atlanta.
Well, why would that be a show
Alabama.
of them not liking Atlanta? It seems like they would be liking Atlanta if they're consuming peaches.
No, because they want to eat them up.
Okay. This does bring an interesting question though, James. Alabama's nonsensical logic aside, if we were to come up with a neutral fruit, what would the neutral fruit be? Because I don't think peach is a neutral fruit. I think peach is very pronounced. I think a peach is very much front and center. I think a neutral fruit would be an apple. I think that would be probably the obvious.
Well, the way the question, that is a good one, but the way the conundrum was put out there, how do we make it entice that people still want to take their medicine? There's an incentive for people to stay on their prescription, because this is supposed to be medicine. Bullshit. But that's the one side of the argument. The other side is, how do we make it not too appealing to children? So that's the dance.
And they settled on peach. Yeah, and I just don't think peach is. I don't think peach is the best choice. I think apple is the obvious one, but I think we're also probably looking at people trying to just take a stance so that they can argue, and so a compromise flavor would be pear. Pear, there you go. Not too much this, not too much that. Nobody knows what a pear is all about. Pear flavored. E, what do you think? Most neutral.
Well, let me tell you where you're wrong. No. Name a candy that's pear flavored.
That's just it. If they're going for the compromise, nobody wins in a compromise. Nobody wants pear, but pear would be the compromise. You see?
All right, I'm convinced now. That is the ultimate compromise fruit. Because no one has a
Hold on.
See, I actually feel that the
Mace, hold on. Nobody knows I just took a phone call. Are you there?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm streaming. What's going on? Do you need me for something?
Dude, we just got fucking invaded by aliens.
Wait, okay, now what's with the language? Okay, you realize that we're streaming?
No, have you seen that yet?
Your grandma just heard you say that. What the hell? What do you mean?
But have you seen the stuff on the news?
No. What's going on? Well, hold on. We've got breaking. Hold on, guys. My son with the salty mouth.
Yeah, our reporter in the field. Yeah, it's Jamie Gum from Silence of the Lambs.
14 years old. It's like living with a bad news bear all the time. Go ahead.
Hey, Dad.
And do not swear. Go ahead.
So apparently something crashed in Las Vegas, and someone called the cops saying there's something in my yard. It's 9-10 feet tall, and it's not human.
Okay. Okay. What this is like you. Usually we have to go to E for these kinds of derailments. What are you talking about? That story's like 2 weeks old.
Then why have you said nothing about it to me? I feel like you're the conspiracy theorist. You're the one that says you're an alien.
I am not a conspiracy theorist, and I am an alien. That is not a conspiracy. All right, I love you. I'll give you a shot when I'm done. We'll go through this. I'll tell you what my thoughts are on it. Okay. Love you.
All right, bye.
All right, I'm sorry. It was breaking news. Apparently, my son wanted to talk aliens with me. It just opens up with an F bomb. We're getting invaded by effing aliens. I swear to God, man, he's like a bad news bear. He's like he and all of his friends. They just I was 14 once.
See, I think Alabama did that intentionally to piss off Georgia, because the peach is a Georgia fruit.
The stereotypical association of peach and Georgia. Yeah, maybe they did, but that
why,
wasn't.
Why would that piss anybody off?
Well, because it's for marijuana, which is illegal.
Is it illegal
in a lot of their minds? I'm sure.
I don't know.
Like there's probably a group of people who don't like marijuana in Alabama.
All right. You want to know the other funny thing about the Alabama legal weed setup?
I do.
They're all edibles. They're all one flavor, peach. And they all have to be shaped like a cube. No, they can't be shaped like a fruit. They can't be shaped like a human being. They have to be shaped like a cube. So they're not appealing to children.
These people. That's absurd. That's absurd. Meanwhile, can't you just buy vape weed at a gas station at the federal? Is that a federally legal thing? What are we doing here? Alabama with these crazy rules.
Well, look, it's progress, and it's progress in the fact that
it's the only reason we have this. Wait a second, because if the federal thing we were talking about, which basically legalized all of these Delta variants that are gotten from hemp. Is it because Texas also had, did Abbott backed up the federal law with a state agriculture bill in 2019? Maybe Alabama doesn't have that. Is that the difference? Because I don't understand all of this. Weed is basically legal in Texas in a state that it's not legal, but it is legal. You know what I mean? So why are they dickering around in Alabama over this stupid thing? You should be able to just walk into any vape store and buy any flavored hemp gummy because that's legal federally.
Okay, so the ball started rolling on this stupidity when Colorado started it in 2014. Now, give them credit for being the first state to legalize recreational weed, and now it's been almost a decade. Yeah. But in their original bill, they disallowed shapes of edibles to be animals, people, or fruit. And then when California did it in 2018, they also banned animals, people, or fruit. And then in 2018, Washington State also followed along with banning certain shapes. And they also in Washington State banned also the use of icing and sprinkles in your edibles.
The only edibles, and we're talking about gummy edibles, because there's chocolate bars. Chocolate bars don't come in cubes. I'm sorry. But in Illinois, you know what? I think that all the edibles were cubes. I think they might have had one of them shaped things in Illinois too, because all of the gummy edibles were just little squares. Little
yeah.
So but don't you think they need that for some type of differential between what is made as a regular gummy and is a candy without the THC?
I don't know.
Because there is really no serial number. It's not like a prescription where you can look up and there's an actual number on each pill. And so how would you individually, delineate, well, that could have marijuana in it? If it's in cube form, if they were limited to that, I, as a parent, would not have my kids consume.
I don't know. I have no idea. These laws they make no sense.
Okay, I do. Look, children consuming weed edibles is a legit concern. Last year, it was over 3,000 kids accidentally ingested their parents' weed edibles, and no one was ultimately harmed of it. But
and they all
I don't know
the best night's sleep of their young lives. That was the harm.
So, yeah.
That was the harm.
They love dinner. But I know how to get to the answer, I should say. Let some states keep banning because like some states even have a color wheel. It has to be a neutral color, your edibles. It can't be like a bright blue or a bright red or a bright orange or a bright yellow. It has to be within a color wheel palette between pond water and dirt. And so I would like to see some states go crazy and make them all cubes. I'd like to see some states let you make them whatever shapes and color they want and see if there's a noticeable difference. Because my theory is there wouldn't be a noticeable difference.
Call those body fluid colors. Any color that looks like it could come out of the human body. You know, like a greenish, like a phlegm green, a mustard yellow. You know?
Or you could say like that's bubble gum color,
black brown.
Or you could say that's pus color. Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
So you think that all edibles should be body fluid colors?
No. I'm just saying that's what.
So as not to be attractive to kids.
No,
not one person thinks
don't
that.
think that at all. That's stupid. But that's what it seems like. It's like, you know, like I heard someone talking about recently. I thought it was funny. It was a good observation about how everything in the 70s, all houses in the 1970s were decorated with these neutral colors that were all body fluid colors, like off browns and greens and, you know, yellows and weird different colors. And, you know, anyway,
earth tones.
But also, yes, all colors that occur naturally in Earth, but also every color that you could see coming out of a human body in various forms of distress, yellows and greens, and, you know, just that kind of thing. So I always think of those in that way, as body fluid colors, as being the colors of my youth, of the night.
Yeah, what color is your sofa? That's an infection green.
Yeah, but no, it's like I don't know, like
olive
green, like moss green, like digestive system green. What is that? Lower
like a burnt orange.
Yes.
That burnt orange, rusty color.
Like there's some blood in your stools. You know, it makes a nice burnt orange shag carpet.
Or was that like marigold?
Yeah.
What wasn't it? Wasn't really like gold. It was really yellow. What was that color in between?
Urine.
Like mustard. There was like mustard.
Yeah, it was like a mustard. Yes,
yellow was
mustard.
everywhere. Mustard
Mhm.
yellow.
For some reason, I remember marigold or something like that was the color.
Green, browns, you know, just poop
Browns, browns and tans and browns.
James, do you know how many poop brown cars there were in the 70s? You never see a brown car anymore. In the 70s, there were poop brown cars everywhere. You don't see it anymore.
There was a lot of oranges too. This was the high point of orange.
And yellows.
And
again, body fluid colors. Body fluid colors were very big in cars.
No, but you're right. Think of how few burnt orange cars there are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there were always a lot of burgundy too.
My mom had,
red.
I think my mom had a burnt orange Camaro, or it was red. I don't know. I seem to remember orange with a black top. I don't know. Anyway, it was a cool car.
Bring back Ashtray.
Yeah, there was also that like kind of flimsy silvery blue you don't see anymore. That light kind of
like a sky blue.
Sky blue,
like
that sky
a
blue.
Cloudy light blue.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore.
It's that tinge of green, like the color of the Dallas Cowboys pants, because that was the color of Tex Schramm's Lincoln or some whatever the urban legend is.
You know what you didn't have?
Yeah, like a Lincoln. He had a Lincoln Continental, and he made the pants the color of his Lincoln Continental. Right? Isn't that from Cowboys folklore?
Could very well be.
Here,
it's a color that I don't think exists outside of the Dallas Cowboys pants anymore.
Pull these up.
Pugs is looking it up.
No, I'm looking up like just random 1970s
I mean, if you think of a uniform that is stuck in that era, it's the Cleveland Browns.
I love their uniform. It needs to be stuck in that era.
All right, so here I just put up.
Now it's so old, it's vintage.
I just put up random 1970s cars, and here you go. That's a body color. That's a body fluid color. Things might not be going great for you if that's coming out of you, but you could see that color coming up. There's the orange, right? Is that the orange you're talking about, James?
Yeah, that's kind of an orangey red.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great looking car. There's red. There's black. There's black. There's brown. There's a brown car.
That's it. Yeah.
We only had to go 4 clicks in before we found a 70s brown car.
That's the burnt orange that cars used to be that just don't exist now.
Look at that. Look at that.
Green.
Yeah.
You can get that green in like a Rolls.
That exists now.
Well,
That
no,
exists.
this is a color, and they're cheating with this color. This is British Racing Green. This is the Jaguar Green, and they've just put it on. What is this? A
Yeah.
GTO? This looks like a GTO.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, hey, can I ask for you to elaborate on the report we got from our field reporter Mason?
okay, so he's all jazzed up. He's all jazzed up about a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. And look,
why is he acting like it happened now? I was under the impression from our reporter's report that this was a current story.
It is, because people are freaking out that nobody is reporting it. How come nobody reported it? How come so many people saw it? How come so many people witnessed? There's all of these reports, and absolutely nobody is talking about it. No CNN, no nothing. So it has been slowly over the last couple of weeks, been building and building and building. Here is what we know. Something fell out of the sky over Las Vegas. Thousands of people have cell phones of it. We can see something fell out of the sky. It might have been a meteor. Who knows? Then some other weird things. Here, let me give you the story. Hold on. Las Vegas UFO. There you go. Backyard. There, oh, there you go. UFO in the backyard. Well, hey, look at this. Look at this. Okay. There's something on YouTube. Should we just watch something on YouTube about it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Baseless speculation is our forte.
Okay, this is probably what's got the kid. Probably got the kid going. There's a lot. There's a lot here. Las Vegas UFO 6-7 backyard video highlighted and explained. All right, let's go. Let's watch it.
6-7. So this was last Wednesday.
Tall.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
Well, why can't we make this bigger? I hate these videos. All right, there's got to be a better video. I hate these videos.
Oh, the vertical ones, because they're meant to be viewed on your phone.
UFO and large alien creatures reported in Las Vegas, and police took it seriously. Okay, here we go. This looks like an actual news. Fudge! Why is it another one of these? Fuck. Hold on. Las Vegas family claims UFO landed in their backyard. WFAA, huh? They're going to do it right.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're here. This is my.
Here we go. Let's watch this report. Oh, good. They're taking it seriously. They're playing the X-Files theme. Good. Thank you, WFAA. Here we go.
It's a scene straight out of the X-Files. A family in Las Vegas insisting something is out there after allegedly having a close encounter of the third kind.
I swear to God, this is not a joke.
One witness calling 911 after they say an object fell out of the sky and landed in their backyard.
They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes, they have big eyes.
The mysterious object that fell from the sky, even the officers apparently saw that. The green glow of the alleged UFO is seen on this newly released body camera footage.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
So when that 911 call came in, less than an hour later, police were ready to believe it.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
But after a brief investigation of the yard, officers closed the case as unfounded.
If those 9 foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
According to former intelligence officer David Grush, an alien crash landing isn't too far-fetched. Grush recently turned over documents to Congress claiming the U.S. government has a vast collection of vehicles that have non-human origin. Andrew Dimberg, ABC News, New York.
All right, so there you have it. That's the story that has my 14-year-old son all ginned up today. Like I said, it's about a week old. It seems to be gaining in the last 24 hours in social media push as to why isn't anybody talking about this. James, you saw the story. Your thoughts?
Bullshit. Everyone has a cell phone in their pocket. If you're gonna have a 10-foot alien in your backyard, you at least need to come up with a JPEG, if not one of these, YouTube reels that Pugs hates. I don't care if it's vertically aligned. It doesn't have to be like landscape aspect ratio, or it doesn't have to be in HD or 4K or 60 frames per second. Just give me something. And until I see that, I'm a skeptic. You know, it's the same thing with Bigfoot. All we got is that one.
You're responding to the more fantastic. This is a two-part thing. What you saw that thing on the police body cam, and by the way, like I said, there are thousands of other copies of that falling from the sky. Did you see something falling from the sky? Can you tell me what it is? Because no scientists have been able to do it yet.
No. I definitely can't tell you what it is, but I did see something falling from the sky. Absolutely.
Okay. E, what about you? You saw that story unfold there. What do you think? The little Mexican kid with the 10-foot alien, full of shit?
I say full of it. I also say it's stories like this in the midst of what has been unexplainable phenomenons going on, which I think has been indicative of possibly letting us know that they may have found some UFOs. It's stories like this that set us back probably, I don't know, 6 months, a year, something like that.
Well, let me just say that it is for that very reason, couldn't agree more with E, that I haven't even mentioned this show, that story on any of the high noon things, because look, something fell out of the sky. Let's deal with that. All right. I don't care what's sort of taking, what fell out of the sky. I don't care about what some hysterical, little family says was in their backyard. That is something to draw my attention away from answering the question, what fell out of the sky? I don't care about that other stuff. So what fell out of the sky has not been answered yet. And it's because everybody's running down this rabbit hole with this kid. He's like 10 feet tall. What is that? I don't know.
How do you not have a video?
It doesn't matter. That's understandable. It could have happened really quick. You can look in the backyard, somebody scampering over the fence, whatever. That's understandable. But that's not the story. The story is what we all saw, and we're being distracted away from what we all saw by this fanciful fairy tale about a 10-foot alien. Answer the question. What was that fell out of the sky? And we'll stop with the stupid alien. But Emil, for that very reason, I think that's just a distraction. That's just something that is designed to make us not focus on what the fuck fell out of the sky.
Yeah.
Just explain that. And if you don't know, say you don't know.
Well, I mean, I do agree with you that there is like this smoke and mirrors going on about
it. For 70 years, they've been distracting us with nonsense.
And you want to see the other side, the explanation on why they think this is a hoax?
Yeah. Well, what is a hoax? The thing that fell out of the sky, or the report of aliens? Because one is obviously a hoax. The other one is
probably already seen the story that says a UFO crashed in Las Vegas and 10-foot aliens are hanging out in my backyard. It's a story that quickly spread everywhere. If you haven't heard about this story, you're probably living in a cabin in the woods in Montana. Anyways, so let's dive into this stupid story. So on the evening of June 7th, Las Vegas local news channel 8 News Now released a report saying, Las Vegas family claims to see aliens after several report something falling from the sky. The events, as reported, go like this. On April 30th, around 11:50 p.m., a body cam worn by a Las Vegas police officer captures a meteor-looking object acting exactly like a meteor flying in the sky. 40 minutes later, past midnight on May 1st, some kid calls 911 and says a UFO fell from the sky and that 8-foot or maybe 10-foot aliens were hanging out in his backyard.
911 emergency. There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
The police show up, look around, investigate, and find nothing. No crashed UFO, no aliens in the backyard. So where did the aliens go? Did they just run away? If they did run away, where'd their crashed spaceship go? Did they maybe get back inside their crashed spaceship and fly away? And if their crashed spaceship was working fine enough for it to fly away, why didn't the aliens just do that before? Why were they just chilling in this kid's backyard? Were they calling their spaceship insurance company? Anyway, so the police found nothing. No evidence to support any of this. And so that's the end of this story, right? Wrong. The day after this one story from a local news station in Las Vegas, basically every news outlet on planet Earth runs with the story. They just run with it. Aliens in the backyard? Yeah, that makes sense. Let's print it. And it's not like most of these new articles did any additional journalism. They just basically copy-pasted the 8 News Now story. See? According to 8 News Now. Not according to us. According to them. This is a very common tactic in lazy modern journalism, and especially with all the UFO nonsense. We're not saying it. They're saying it. Click here for aliens. Clicks equal ad sales, so click it. Just click it. No.
All right, I think they got it, man. You think they nailed that?
But again, that's just all part of the misdirection. He was talking about the thing that is clearly designed to, confuse stupid people. The question is, now he also said some things that were a bit leading, like every news organization, and he overstated that multiple times. You guys didn't know this story. You guys, my son just thought it happened today. It happened a week ago. So that's not true. Every news didn't put it. It wasn't everywhere. As a matter of
Oh, it
fact,
happened on April 30th.
it didn't happen. So he's overstated. He's taking an agenda position, and he's focusing on the aliens, which is not what we should be focusing on. His dismissive behaving exactly the way an asteroid. He says that so confidently that like people who don't know how they react would be like, yes, well, he said it like that, so that didn't behave. That behaved very strangely. That is not like what a normal shooting star or asteroid skipping off our atmosphere looks like. It kind of whirligigged, which is, what you see it in a couple of different.
I don't think it whirligigged as much as the body cam moved.
Maybe, but you see it from. I would suggest look at all the different angles. It's not. It doesn't look like a typical. To me, it looks like a fighter jet crashing into Earth. I mean, it does. It looks like a military plane. But whatever. That's still the issue. What was that? I do not accept his contention that it was behaving exactly the way an asteroid behaves. He put that out there. I think that was leading, and that's why he did it.
Well, my asteroids that I've seen never hit.
No, they skip. I mean, I've seen a number of them, and they skip off the atmosphere and they bounce.
Well, I just see them flash and go away in a streak, kind of like in the movie.
Well, that's like a shooting star. Right, that's not like a meteor.
That's all I've ever seen. That's the closest I've ever seen. I don't. What are you describing the skip? Because I don't know the skip.
The skip is when a meteor doesn't crash into the Earth, but it hits our atmosphere, and you can see it in the sky. You can see it literally skip like a stone across water, and it does change direction, and that's the reason that a lot of people think it's a UFO. It changed direction. No, it's just a meteor that was skipping off our atmosphere.
I think all the ones I've seen have just burned up. I don't think I've ever even seen one.
Well, I've only seen one of those once, and I was like 19 years old delivering pizzas, and I'm driving down the road, and it happened right in front of me. I just saw it. It was one of the coolest things ever. But I've seen a lot of shooting stars.
Cool. Amel?
I mean, I think it's bullcrap still.
Okay.
Yeah, but what fell out of the sky?
What fell out of the sky? I don't know. Something, but I don't think it's a UFO.
Okay, but that is exactly what a UFO is. When you don't know what it is.
Well, but I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think it's from another world. I don't think it's from another world.
That's not what a UFO is. A UFO is not from another.
It's a piece of space junk.
Okay, all right, that's
like
that's
I can't identify the flying object, but it's not a UFO.
It's not. Yes, it is. The flying object is unidentifiable, but
wrong.
It's not a UFO.
It's not a form. I don't believe it's something from another world.
Well, that's the leap. That's the leap that crazy people make. Just because we're looking for answers as to what these things are doesn't mean that everybody thinks it's an invasion of little green men. But, people who want to look at this issue reductively, they'll go, oh, it's not crazy. Anybody who sees anything is a crazy. No, there are spy shit. There are special weapons that we've got. Come on.
Here's one thing that comes to mind in so many of these instances is, I never entered the military. I'm kind of a coward in that way. Like, I ain't going to take a job where I'm getting shot. Screw you guys. But I have a whole lot of friends who were in the military. And it's funny how, like, when me and you, hear the word military grade, as an adjective toward a product, we're like, ooh, well, it must be good. But if you look at your friends who've been in the military, when they hear the words military grade, they're like, ew,
That
right?
means it's shit.
Right.
That means it was.
And I'm like, what do you mean, ew? And they're like, well, that went out to the contractor that was the most politically connected, not and maybe or the lowest bidder or whatever, and crap's always failing and breaking and stuff.
Exactly.
And the military, gets heralded, for being a glorious and whatever. But
Military grade just means U.S. government purchased, which isn't a good thing. Kind of loses some of the luster.
Track record. Doesn't have the same.
Oops, sorry.
As military grade. So
I wouldn't buy my meat with that.
Good point. Yeah, right. So what that makes me think
grade meat. This meat is military grade.
So how many jets have just fallen out of the sky because Jeff forgot to screw it all the way tight? The new hashtag regulator, airflow constrictor, whatever.
More than you want to know.
Yeah, but they can cover it up because if it just falls in the middle of like some federal land in Utah, no one really knows about it. And so I bet hundreds of jets have crashed over because like 89% of Nevada is federal government land.
Right.
Like people just don't really go.
That's where all the new technology is tested. That's where for years and years they were seeing, for years and years in the 80s they were seeing UFOs in that part of the country. And then it turns out, they were just seeing the stealth bomber before it was made public. The stealth bomber was unveiled at Area 51 in a big show, I don't know, probably like 1989. And when they unveiled it, they finally said, so half those UFO reports people were calling in over the past 10 years, they were just seeing this baby flying around doing test flights. So, that's where we test our cool stuff. However, it is also where we would test alien technology if we were to have recovered some and reverse engineered it and started dicking around. It's also where that would happen. So, who knows?
Well, I think the greatest argument against, do we have an alien spacecraft is if they're smart enough and technologically advanced enough, they're not just going to randomly crash into freaking Nevada, right?
No, they were Chariots of the Gods. Chariots of the Gods, my friend. I suggest you read Eric von Dockenen's Chariots of the Gods. Maybe you'll have a different view on all this. All right, James, tell people where they can get Florida stories.
Wherever you're already listening to podcasts, just add this one to it. So Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. But also I'm adding a video version to like Facebook and YouTube and wherever you idiots watch videos. So just freaking wherever you're at, Florida stories. All right, me.
What is the plan for tomorrow?
I'm driving up there and meeting you guys, and we're gonna go to the Freak remote.
What time?
1-ish, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
All right, 1-ish. All right, thank you guys. There they go.
All right, see you soon.
So you never picked the logo.
What are you talking about?
Didn't we have a logo?
Oh yeah, I did a whole bunch of really nice logos. Yeah, I don't care. I said I liked 1 and I think 6. I think I like 1 and 6.
All right.
They're awesome. Whatever you got, he does great work all the time. All right, there they go. There's E and there's James. No high noon show tomorrow. I'm taking the day off. I told you summer hours, summer loving. That is all I need. I got nothing else. Bye, everybody. We'll see ya.
Tomorrow is another day.
Okay, we're still on.
Lockwood Distillery.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a reason that neither of you guys wanted to promote that? I threw the ball out there and both of you were like, bark, 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 bark. And I'm like, I see this guy go,
We'll promote it.
What?
Promote it. I promoted Florida stories. So
what was he? What did he do? He just was like,
does nothing every day. What are you worried about? He's already gone.
All right. Lockwood Distilling, it's in Carrollton, or is it Richardson? I don't know. I always get those two places.
It's in Richardson.
Lockwood Distilling in Richardson. We're going to be there tomorrow, hanging out. Come join us. We'd love to if you did come by. And if you could find us, and then you say, hey, you're a chat room person, you get to sit with us. Right, James? That's the rule.
Yeah, I said my name is Fast Outdoor Food.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine.
You get to sit with us. You get to sit with us, and maybe you get to buy us drinks. That's all I'm saying.
We don't have any friends, so they'll be interested.
All right. Lockwood Distilling tomorrow. We'll be there tomorrow afternoon for the Freak Remote. Bye.
I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.